and if the state won't do it, we'll do it. Everyone, from whatever group, we're all here for the same purpose, to get justice for Charlene Downs, and to stop other kids suffering the same fate. Charlene Downs, the mother of Charlene Downs. Thank you.
And I'm part of the pro-fan group. What a great idea to form a group of people together under a new banner, running alongside, yet still under the wing of the British National Party. Can I hear it? There we are. Charlene's murder has revealed the tip of a very large iceberg. You will be hearing a lot from us over the next few months, whilst we push forward for a retrial of Charlene's murderers.
Yes!
I cannot even touch on the feelings of Mrs. Downs and her loss. My thoughts go out to her as a mother, but I feel she must be a very strong woman indeed to rise above what has happened to her daughter and family, especially in the face of such indifference by the relevant authorities. The final insult must be the money paid to these men for their feelings. Men weren't failed on that matter. Right, love it. So now the crux of the matter. Charlene Downs, aged just 14, went missing in 2003. Two Muslims, Iyad al-Bataki and Mohammed Ravishi, were charged with her death. I believe in May 2007 a jury failed to reach a verdict and a retrial was ordered. In 2008 the retrial collapsed because, in the words of the IPCC, police errors in gathering evidence had contributed to the collapse of the retrial. Charlene's body has never been found. The sad but true fact: wherever you get a large Muslim community, or enclave as I prefer it, you get intimidation by Muslim youth and you get Muslim grooming. This is a fact which is totally ignored by the majority of groups that have been formed to deal solely with this problem. It is not going to be ignored by the British National Party or pro-fans. That is what we are here for today, to rally the troops, to get justice, or at least to get Joe Public and the authorities aware that this Muslim grooming problem does exist, it does happen, and it is happening in our country now. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Lynn. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not acceptable in our country. We are the British, and we will not stand for this type of behaviour against our people. The next speaker is Richard Brodowski, a local campaigner. Richard, a few words, please. Hands together for Richard, thank you.
As we are all aware that Charlene Downs went missing in November 2003, which is believed that she was allegedly murdered, and in 2007 the jury at Preston Crown Court had failed to reach a verdict, which caused the case to collapse. The two accused were Iyad al-Bataki and Mohammed Ravishi. Iyad al-Bataki had allegedly murdered Charlene, and Mohammed Ravishi had helped dispose of her body. However, there were tape-recorded evidence confirming that al-Bataki and Ravishi were discussing how Iyad al-Bataki had killed Charlene, which was enough concrete evidence to put Iyad al-Bataki in prison for murder and put Mohammed Ravishi in prison for assisting an offender. However, those two alleged paedophiles had got off on a technicality. First they murdered her, made a kebab out of her, made money out of her, and was awarded £300,000 compensation each. In addition to that horrific crime that they're committed, they are now having full protection by the police. I therefore send a clear message to the police: stop harassing the people who are trying to get justice for Charlene and get out and catch those responsible for the disappearance of Charlene Downs and Pete Shivers and the other girls that have gone missing.
We have a very, very brave lady indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, Charlene Downs, the mother of Charlene Downs. Thank you.
Hello, Patriots. Hello, afternoon, Patriots. I would firstly like to thank you all who have attended here today in our aim to demand a retrial and get justice for Charlene and Paige Chivers. As everyone knows, Charlene was brutally raped and murdered in 2003 by two vile Muslims, Al-Batiki and Raveshi. Since then, finding out about her vile murder, we have had many demonstrations and have tirelessly fought for justice, and now a retrial is a constant nightmare. Hang on a second, we're here with you now. Yeah. Charlene was deeply loved by all who knew her, a beautiful 14-year-old girl brutally robbed of her life, a life full of love and hope. Since her trial collapsed, the police and the CPS have treated us appallingly, choosing to protect this scum at all cost. I very recently had an harassment order pushed through my letterbox forbidding me and refusing me just simply because I was handing out leaflets. Shame, innit? Simply because I was handing out leaflets with a handful of friends. Outside this scum's takeaway, only to raise awareness of what happened to Charlene. We simply told the truth. We want people to know what this vile scum is about and to protect our young from this scum, from such evil. The Blackpool police are trying, and I say trying, to shut me up. Alongside with my close friend Richard.
Okay, folks, keep it quiet, please. Go on.
Who was also handed, my friend Richard, who was also handed, as you've just heard, an harassment order too. Again, for speaking the truth. The Blackpool police and the CPS, I send this clear message to you today. Amen! Not amen, I can promise you. That we will never, and I repeat, we will never be silenced. You will never shut us up. We will not be silenced. Neither will we allow you to harass or intimidate us at all, at any cost. We demand for this day forward, with the new evidence that you now have available, to work towards getting a retrial for Charlene and to get the justice that is rightfully hers. Because we will never give up until you do. And also we will never... Excuse me a minute. Getting there.
Please don't put your car out, don't you worry.
We will never... We will never give up. Also until you start protecting these young girls from grooming and scum like these. I would like to thank you all, and a special thank you to Nick Griffin and all the British National Party.
A very, very brave lady here, ladies and gentlemen. 3 please for Karen, please. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mike Whitby, who is our Northwest Regional Organiser. Mike Whitby!
Don't worry.
Thanks very much for everybody coming such a long way for us.
Yes.
Karen really appreciates it. I'm sure Charlene will be looking down on us all, thanking us. And we will get this retrial. We will keep battling for it. there's enough evidence to bring a retrial. We know that a woman was a member of the jury, a female member of the jury was having sex with one of the defendants while the trial was going on. Also, some relatives of the defendants were harassing jury members while the trial was going on. So all of this means that there's enough evidence to have a retrial, and let's get these people sent down forever. There's also some, let's say, allegations. Let's put it allegations, because the thugs in uniforms are listening, as we all know. But the lady, I should say woman, the thing that was having sex with the paedophile, bought a house straight after the trial ended. She was skint and bought a house for £80,000 cash. Now, somebody very close to her said she didn't have a what's it in, if you understand my meaning, yet she can spend 80 grand cash on a house.
No, Mike, that's it. Sorry.
So, you know, that in itself is evidence to get it back to court again, and people will happily testify to this in court. There are several witnesses that we've got lined up to come back to court. The police just need to open their ears and start listening to people.
Retrial! Retrial!
Retrial! Retrial! Retrial! Retrial! Retrial! Retrial! Retrial! Retrial! Ladies and gentlemen, we now have Mr. Nick Griffin, Chairman of the British National Party and North West MEP. Thank you. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, everyone. I'd like to thank Profam for organising this event. A great turnout from the British National Party from all over the country. Thank you to them. Thanks to the Scottish Defence League, who've put a particularly good turnout, travelling here today as they've travelled for the last couple of years, tirelessly for the cause of justice for young children in this country. Thank you, lads. Thank you. I know there's some casuals here. The lads have been the backbone of the English Defence League for some time and hope for some time to come. Thank you for you coming. Thank you for the combined ex-forces lads who've come here as well. Thanks to members of the public who are standing out in the rain to hear our message too. Everyone, from whatever group, we're all here for the same purpose, to get justice for Charlene Downs and to stop other kids suffering the same fate. And to stop other families suffering the same terrible tragedy. Thank you all, from whichever group you come. Now, in an ideal world, there would be justice in this country, and justice for paedophile scum, regardless of their race, creed or colour, should involve being hung by the neck until they are dead. But at present we're not in a sensible, decent country. We're in a multi-cult liberal hellhole where justice isn't done. It certainly isn't done unless you fight for it, and that's what we're here to do today. It's part of a campaign, as the other speakers have said, for a retrial. As Mike Whitby said, there is ample evidence for a retrial, and the police and the Crown Prosecution Service need to start listening to ordinary people to diffuse the anger that's building up by having the retrial and let a jury decide what is right or what is wrong, not themselves deciding. For the sake of peace in Muslim areas, they simply won't do anything. It's a disgrace, and the people at the head of Blackpool Police and the head of the Crown Prosecution Service should be ashamed of themselves. And we're also here to demand a public inquiry, not just into the failure of the police and the courts and the establishment to deal with the case of Charlene Downs, but the fact that's the tip of an iceberg of abuse of young girls and some young boys in this country, which has gone on for the best part of 30 years. Now, we are not saying that all paedophiles, all groomers are Muslims. Of course they're not. There are white paedophile scum as well, and they need hanging too. but the specific problem of on-street grooming by gangs using takeaway shops and taxis and so on to lure and seduce their victims and as cover for their crimes, that is specifically a Muslim problem. It's not an Asian problem. That's a racist slur by the people running this country on decent Sikhs and decent Hindus whose girls are victims of the same thing. This is specifically a Muslim problem. Not all Muslims are groomers, but all the on-street groomers are Muslims, and that fact needs recognising, and something needs to be done to ask why. Because until they really start asking what the root of the problem is, they can't solve the problem. And by God, this problem needs solving, and if the state won't do it, we'll do it. We shouldn't have to do it. We should be at home. We shouldn't be costing the taxpayer money by having to have policemen here today. It shouldn't be necessary. The state should do it. And if the victims were young girls from any other community other than ours, then the state would do it. But it's because they're white working class kids, because they're English kids, often from poor families, nobody out there gives a damn. But we do, and we're here to put it right. Now, I've got here in my hand a piece of paper. This is the Blackpool Gazette from a week or so ago. What do you think of this headline? Charlene mum in court order threat. Can you imagine what would happen if the police in London gave Doreen Lawrence a letter saying, don't protest? There would be hell on, and rightly so, because what happened to her son was a tragedy. And she has been a brave lady, Doreen Lawrence, in working to get the killers brought to justice. Whether they did bring the right people to justice or not, I do not know. But what the problem is the racism, the anti-English, anti-British, anti-white racism of the ruling class in this country, whereby Charlene Downs is put on television and given all sorts of awards, whereas Karen Downs gets an order telling her she can't protest about the murder of her own daughter and the failure of the police to do anything about it. It's a disgrace. And it's typical. It's not a one-off. This is the problem. It isn't a one-off. I've got here something I downloaded from newspaper 2 days ago. This was the headline in the Daily Mail. Sex attacker answered mobile while holding down struggling victim. Calmly said, I'll call you back in 15 minutes before continuing vicious assault. Tamar Hussein was intoxicated to a very high level when he attacked the woman on New Year's Eve. The 19-year-old threatened to kill his young victim before conducting a sex act. He later admitted his guilt. Now this Tamar Hussein was tried in Burnley a few days ago. This is just the 8th of June, this report, and he was sent to jail. Very, very good. But the problem is this. When, a few days ago, the people who've been firing guns at the police in Birmingham during the riots from a black mob, and those who tell you that the problem with immigration in this country is only Muslims are telling a lie. Because in their own way, the feral black youth of cities like Birmingham are also something which is a problem for this country, a problem for the white working class of this country, and it's an issue that needs addressing. But nevertheless, at least when they came out and fired guns at the police, they were arrested, rightly so, and they were taken to court, rightly so, and the ringleader got 30 years, rightly so. But why does someone get 30 years for firing a gun at police officers when someone, a Muslim, who brutally sexually assaults a young girl, gets 32 months in prison? What the hell is going on? It's absolutely disgusting. We have to do something about it, because the state won't do anything about it, because they're the bloody problem. We've got to make them do something about it. So I serve notice on them right now that the time of us, the British National Party only contesting elections is gone. We're going to continue contesting elections, but we're also going to lead the fight on the street, because it's about time that everyone fought back. Everyone. And we are going to fight back. And there will be no peace in this country until there is a fair, living playing field for all the victims, including the white ones. And we will be out there costing them a fortune, policing demonstrations. We will be outside shops of suspected groomers. We'll be outside the taxi ranks of suspected groomers, and more than that, we will be outside the homes of people like these useless judges who give perverts 32 months. And the police chiefs and the media editors who ignore it. We're going to be outside your houses. We're going to be outside the rooftops, on the rooftops of your offices. We are going to cause so much trouble over the months and years ahead that you will finally understand there is no peace without justice, and you will give our people justice.